Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another live hangout vid. Hit the thumbs up in the description box. I greatly appreciate that. Sorry, y'all. I'm just having a drink of water here just to get things going. There we go. Seems my levels are okay. All right, let's just go ahead and check on that one more time. There we go. Perfect. 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 So let's see. Yeah, what's going on, Joe Host? Yeah, I'm gonna get into that right now. I know you saw the first headline, Wilder versus Stevenson. I'll get into that in a second. But before I do, I want to report on some U.S. economic news. I know that has nothing to do with boxing, but it's worth noting. The jobs report came out today. Very, very weak numbers. The U.S. The Labor Department, the United States Labor Department, has reported 103,000 jobs that were added. But nonetheless, the March numbers were expected to have a slowdown due to increasing numbers of the retail jobs added, and the fact that wages have increased a little bit by 3% over the month. But also goes back to the fact that estimates were revised from January to February, which resulted to a net loss of 50,000 jobs. So it is what it is on that. So, and in addition to that, we got to borrow an additional $300 billion to help pay for the tax cuts that were given to the very top percent, which is ridiculous. But that's another video. But we'll go from there. NBT, Charlie Brown, Eddie Sasa, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Let's get to it real quick. Let's get to it real quickly. First things first. Danny Garcia versus John Porter has been ordered by the WBC. I think that fight was ordered yesterday, so let me go ahead and get into that. Now, I know Kenny Porter had came out and said something about that, but before I quote him, let me just quote the particulars on that fight and why on why it was ordered and how much time do they have for both parties to come to an agreement to make the fight happen. All right, so the interim title is on the line, and the winner of that fight becomes the actual mandatory or the number one challenger to Keith Thurman's title. Now, Keith Thurman is another story because he has reported an injury to his left hand, a bruised left hand, so he has to pull out of his return bout that was scheduled for next month on May 19th. And what's funny about that is that he hasn't even announced an opponent for that date, and we don't know what the hell's going on there with Keith Thurman. And he hasn't fought over a year now, so many would argue that it would be best for him to be either stripped or be put in champion recess or a champ emeritus, which is by the WBC, or champion recess by the WBA, since he does hold the titles for both of the sanctioned bodies. Now, I think the rule is that he has 18 months to make a defense. If he doesn't make a defense within the next 18 months, well, actually, technically 6 months. If he doesn't make a defense within the next 6 months, he will be stripped. So hopefully, he would assume that he will return before then. But it is taking far too long for him to get back into the welterweight action, and due to this injury, which is quite unusual because he seems to be injury prone when it comes to training camps. He's holding up the division, and things are not looking good for Keith, as far as his support. The WBC has decided to to go ahead and order this fight for the interim title, meaning that whoever the winner of this fight will become the interim champion until Keith Thurman returns. So once he does return, he does get a shot at the winner of Garcia and Porter. Okay. Let me see what else is here. So basically, the fight hasn't been scheduled yet, so there hasn't been a window on when the fight should be agreed between two parties. So we'll get into that later. But not Keith Thurman. Kenny Porter has something to say about this, but let me go ahead and quote him here. Porter. Kenny Porter. Kenny Porter he wants answers on this situation because he's quite confused on the WBC's ruling. Let me see. Quote, I'm going to go ahead and quote Kenny Porter. He says, look, I don't know what's going to happen, but I need some answers from the WBC to find out how long they're planning on sitting back and letting this guy Thurman hold the belt hostage. And I also need answers from the WBC on why my son Sean is no longer rated #1, and yet they moved Danny Garcia to be #1. I don't quite understand this. I'm paraphrasing there a little bit there. I'm improving. Now, Danny was inactive for over a year, and then he comes back. He came back and fought a fighter, Brandon Rios, who haven't been relevant for a number of years, and he beat him. Now, Garcia knocked out Rios in 9 rounds in a couple months back in February 17th in Mandalay Bay in Vegas. Now, Sean had fought a title eliminator. He beat Berto, and he winning the title eliminator. Sean comes back and he fought again. At which to a point we're asking now to be fight Danny Garcia for the interim title, but Danny has never stepped up to take the fight. And what Kenny Porter was referring to is that Danny Garcia and the Sean Porter fight was initially ordered by the WBC, and Garcia backed out of that. So I can understand where Kenny Porter is coming from, because this is kind of like the Dillian White situation, where Dillian White was asked to fight eliminator after eliminator. Sean Porter has been asked to do that, and I can understand from a principle standpoint where Kenny Porter is coming from. So he may have a point here on this. So, but anyways, we'll see, as this situation further develops, but we'll go from here. All right. Now let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Before I get into Wilder Stevenson, let me just go into the other particulars here. Let's talk about the title here I have right here. Let's talk about Joshua and Povetkin being ordered. Now, I know some of you have heard the news today that Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin has been ordered by the WBA to make a fight. All right. Now, according to the details of this matter, both camps will have 30 days to negotiate an offer. Then after that expiration date, which is May 6th, then a purse bid will be called. And when that does happen, more than likely or highly likely, Povetkin's team, which is backed by the World of Boxing in Russia, will win that purse bid. Okay, so and they have by September to make that fight. So this is going to be very interesting now. Now, I put out a video this morning about this, and I gave you my thoughts. I really believe that Joshua is going to go through it. I don't think he's going to vacate his title by 1 second. So I believe he's going to go forward with it. And the question is where this fight's going to be held. If it's held in the United Kingdom, all power to Joshua. Great. But if it's held in Russia, I know things are going to be a little complicated in that situation, but I really believe that Joshua's going to go through it, even if the fight has to be held in Russia. Rosclaw, here you go again. Come on in. Let's have a chat. Hop on. Let's have a chat. All right, there we go. So, now I know I'm hearing, some people saying that I hear some people saying that Eddie Hearn that some people are saying that Eddie Hearn has something to do with this fight being ordered by the WBA. Come on, you know what, guys? Let me just say this. I got respect for you guys, but let's be realistic here. Eddie Hearn had nothing to do with the WBA's decision today. Okay, it's just trying to. Let's just envision this. Why would he order his fighter to fight a guy who's just as equally as dangerous as, like, say, a Deontay Wilder? Why would he want to do that, huh? Okay, after what Povetkin did to David Price, I mean, I don't think. Why would Eddie Hearn rush to make that fight happen? I don't get it. I just can't see how he can be conspired to have the WBA order the fight rather than fight Wilder. I know this whole thing about unification supersedes mandatories. I understand that, but let's put that in proper context. Unifications supersedes mandatories unless typically they do, but it has to go through an approval process through the championship committee, through through all the sanctioning bodies. Okay, now let's take the WBA for example, or the WBO and the WBC. Now they're very lenient when it comes to unification bouts over mandatories. However, there is a line that needs to be drawn there. Okay. Now, the WBA mandatory. The last time the WBA heavyweight mandatory was satisfied was back in 2015 when Vladimir Klitschko fought Brian Jennings. Okay. Now, that was 3 years ago. And during that time, Luis Ortiz was installed the mandatory, and he was waiting to get a shot for over 2 years. At that, almost 2 years. Okay. Now, when Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua bout was announced and it was signed, sealed, and delivered, Klitschko put in a request by the WBA since it was vacated by Tyson Fury, who beat Klitschko, by the way, for that title, on the line against Joshua. Okay. Now, both Joshua and Klitschko signed a special request, a special exemption, as you want to call it, through the WBA to allow that fight to go ahead and Ortiz to have to step aside. Okay. Now, the promise was made by both camps. They both agreed on that special request that they will have whoever the winner of that fight will have to fight Luis Ortiz as the next mandatory, which is in the rotation before the IBF. And the IBF was involved in that negotiation process over that rotation process, and they all agreed on that. Okay, we all know the backstory beyond that situation, how the IBF became, the mandatory before the WBA. We already know that spiel, which Mendoza had cleared up that situation, which contradicted Eddie Hearn. But yeah, we'll get into that. But the point is, we already went over that, I should say. But the point is that it has not been fulfilled for the last 3 years. It's long overdue, and the WBA needs their mandatory to be fulfilled. All right. So again, I do favor the unifications over mandatories, but the WBA has already granted 2 exemptions already for the last 3 years for unifications to supersede mandatories. The mandatories can't be be put off for long stretches of time, guys. I hate to say this, but that's just the way it is. The mandatories are there for a reason. They fight to get shots at titles, just like the other champions. So they're inclined to get their shots. They've worked for it, and it's time for it to be overdue. Now, as far as Alexander Povetkin is concerned, we can argue that him being suspended for the drug test that he had issues with back in 2016, and then he was lifted within 6 months or so. We can argue that the duration should have been longer, but the fact is that he already paid the crime. He did the crime. He paid the time, as you want to call it. He's paid numerous of fees, or penalties, as you want to call it, for those failed drug tests. He's back in the rankings. It is what it is, guys. All right. He's still a very good fighter, regardless of the drug testing controversies. Okay. So it is what it is. The Fox says that I don't think it's going to supersede this one. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I just explained it. It's not going to supersede the unification. And I saw Blood's videos on this, and he pretty much understands the situation just like I do. All right, so Ben Umar says that when I see the title Wilder versus Stevenson, I automatically know that T's ass has something to do with it. Yeah, he does. I'm gonna get into that right now, man, and I'm gonna bring his ass on because we gotta talk about this. Charlie Brown, Dwayne Jones, what's going on, man? Let's see. Fighting in Russia is long. Yeah, I know, Dwayne, but from the looks of it, Ryan Bensky and Povetkin are not going to step aside. They're going to invoke their mandatory shot. In fact, they do have the power to go ahead and go through a purse bid rather than go through the negotiation process. But I do believe they do respect Joshua as a champion, so they're going to allow him to give him some time to go ahead and submit a proposal during the negotiation process within 30 days. But they can still bypass that because they do have the power to call the purse bid rather than go through the negotiation process and just go ahead and get the fight done that way. So we'll see in the next coming days. We'll see. Well, Dwayne, look, man, I respect most of those guys in LDBC. I do, but like I said, I agree with them, and I will disagree with them. Like I said, I disagree with them on the fact that Eddie Hearn had anything to do with the WBA ordering Povetkin to be the mandatory for Joshua. I don't believe that. So, it doesn't make any sense. Why would Eddie Hearn do that? I mean, look, Big Baby Miller, that's the fight they wanted to do. They want to schedule that fight, pencil that fight next for August. Now, you're telling me that Big Baby Miller is more dangerous than Povetkin? No, he's not. He is a dangerous fighter despite his limitations, but still, Povetkin is far more skilled. He's far more dangerous, despite the PEDs or not. So it is what it is. Povetkin will make AJ's resume look even better than 38 bums. I mean, well, Roscliffe, let me look at it. I mean, Roscliffe, I mean, are you saying Stavern is a bum? I mean, as I recall, weren't you one of those guys that said that Wilder's going to be beat by Stavern? Correct me if I'm wrong here. Because there were many videos when that Stavern fight came about that Wilder's going to get neutralized by Stavern. He can't deal with the power. He can't deal with the ability of Stavern, his counterpunching ability, his inside attack. I remember those videos. I remember everybody was writing Wilder off before that fight, the first fight. And look what Wilder did to him. Wilder humiliated him. And yet, Wilder gets no credit for beating Stavern. Just like right now, he's getting no credit for beating Ortiz. I don't know why you guys keep moving the goalposts, man, on Wilder. I just don't understand it. I really don't get it, okay? Now, let's be honest here. I know Anthony Joshua beat Charles Martin for his first world title. But you can't tell me that Charles Martin is a better a better fighter than Bermane Stavern. Let's be real, he's not. Okay? But all due respect, let's give Joshua credit for that win. I do. Just like you got to give Wilder credit for that win against Stavern. Oh, you never said that? Okay, that's why I asked you. Did you say that? So you didn't say that. Okay, so you always knew that Wilder was going to beat Stavern. You say I'm lying, Rosclott? Really? And I am? Then you come on here and challenge me then, bro. No credit for Stavern, enough credit for Ortiz. All right, that's on you, Charlie. I put words in your mouth, Roscott. So you saying that Stavern was going to beat Wilder in the first fight? You didn't say that. That's why I asked you. I didn't say you said that by as a definite. I'm asking you, did you say that? But you won't give him credit for the Stavern, the first fight. I'm waiting for your answer, Roscott. Come on. Yeah, B Marsh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good. Yeah, I mean, good point, man. I mean, that some people are not as objective. I mean, yeah. I mean, just be honest, man. I try to be objective as the best way I can. I mean, the thing is that some people like me when when I appraise a certain fighter that they like, and then when I give them the benefit of the doubt, they say, "Hey, good, you're a very unbiased guy." But when I do criticize that fighter and legitimately criticize them in a way where I'm not trying to be too harsh on them, they say, "Oh, you're not being objective." I don't quite understand that. Let me see here. Let me see. Who's the best fighter on Savern's resume? I mean, okay, look, we could argue that Chris Ariella is his best fighter on his resume. Okay, or Chris Ariella, who was still a good contender at that time. All right. Now, I'm not saying that Chris Ariella was the best, was the best heavyweight out there, but he was still a legitimate contender when Severn fought him. Okay, as I recall, I think Chris in the first fight wasn't Chris Ariella the favorite to beat Severn in the first fight when they first fought. I believe so. He was. So yeah, I mean, yeah, well, okay. Who's? I mean, are you telling me that Jars Glaskov is better than Chris Ariella? I mean, the same guy who lost his title on the injury to Charles Martin. All right, come on, guys. Let's be a little respectful. Come on, let's do it. Dan Mac, what's going on, man? What's going on? What's going on, brother? Bad guys in the chat. I see you, Ben Umar. I see you in there, brother. Let's see. Come on, man. Leave Ross Cloud alone, man. I know he can be a bit annoying, but he's cool with me though, man. But yeah, let me ask you guys in the comment section. Well, before I do that, I'm gonna get the other guys on because I know I don't have much time here. But I have to say something. Yeah, I'll get it to you, Dwayne. I'll definitely get it to you, brother. Give me 1 minute. Um, Here's the thing, because somebody had brought this to my attention that another uploader who just can't seem to stay away, even though he said he would. As far as the negativity is concerned, but he seems he seems to gravitate towards it. I don't know why, but it is what it is. But anyways, um, look, me and Mr. Boxer today had a little conversation on our last hangout. Not on here, but we was in the chat and we were talking about the heavyweight resumes, right? So we were talking about Wilder's resume, right? And we all agree that Wilder's resume is not that good. It's not that good. We know that it's not a good resume. But if you compare it and contrast it to all the heavyweights, in the division right now. They're pretty profile. Most of them don't have the resume that Wilder has. Okay, with the exception of Joshua and Povetkin. Now, those are the best. Those are the top two heavyweights with the best resumes. We know that, okay? So, I asked in the comments section. Me and Mr. Boxer today asked, name the top 5 resumes in the heavyweight division. You have Povetkin number 1. Some people said Joshua's number 1. That's fine. Then it was a toss up between 1 and 2 between Povetkin and Joshua. Fine. But number 3, we all agree that Wilder has the third best resume in the heavyweight division, even though it's not good. All right. We all know it's a bad resume, but the fact is he still has the third best resume amongst all the heavyweights, active heavyweights. It is what it is. Okay. You can nitpick it. That's fine. But the fact is that's the result of it. Okay. So we're not trying to say that Wilder has this, that, and the third. We all know it's a bad resume, but if you compare it to all the other heavyweights, it's still number 3 behind Joshua and Povetkin. Well, I got Povetkin number 1, then Joshua second. All right. So that was the whole point of me and Mr. Boxer today bringing that up, okay? Because a lot of people want to degrade Wilder's resume as being the worst of the worst. It's not the worst of the worst. It's not a good resume, but it's not definitely the worst of the worst. I've seen worse resumes amongst champions. Zol Erdy, excellent example. All right, so if you guys don't know who Zol Erdy is, please look him up. All right. Adonis Stevenson. Well, Adonis Stevenson has a better resume than Zol Erdy. But, if you compare resumes, which I'll get to Adonis Stevenson in a second. But, yeah, him and Wilder. Well, I mean, they're kind of almost parallel right there as far as resumes is concerned. And they're not that good. They got some decent wins. But, Wilder's starting to step up his competition. In all fairness, Stevenson's doing that with Jack. But the difference is that Stevenson doesn't have much time. So he is 40 years old. He's going to turn 41 this year. So I'm not sure Stevenson is going to stay that long. So actually, Wilder has 4 top 10 wins, not 2. So relax. Dan, tell us why you fell out with BL. Well, you know what, man, Ross Clark, that's a bit private. We could chat offline if you want. We could talk about that. So it's unfortunate that we fell out, but it is what it is. All right, he wants to go his way. Fine. That's up to him. He's a man. He's in control of his own decisions. So it is what it is. Let me see. Adonis 4 current or former world champions. Wilder 1. No, he doesn't have 1 current world champion. He actually has 2. You forgot Sergey Lovovich, the same guy that got beat by Shannon Briggs for the WBO title. Do your research, low place. Do your research. Let me see. Adonis has. Let's see. He has Tavoris Cloud, Chad Dawson. He has who else? Tony Bellew. And then who else he has after that? That's it. He actually has 3. Let me take a look at that resume again. Oh, it's Aki Obika, so that's 4. All right, yeah, Stevenson got that. That's fine. That's cool, but it's still kind of parallel either way because Stevenson has not been as active as Wilder has. All right, so they're still kind of parallel. I know. I just said Bika. Well, you just okay. First of all, you just did. Low place. You just said active, former or current world champions. Wilder has 2 of them. Former or current world champions. Lahovich was a former world champion, even though he's not active right now. Wilder beat him. Okay, he was a former world champion. He got Stavern, yes, but hopefully he could get another one soon. Let's see. Hopefully he could do that. All right, let's hope. Let's see. Let's see if I have anything else in the news. But actually, I was going to ask you guys a question in the comment section before I bring these dudes on. Hold on. Get Dwayne on here. And all these other characters, the usual suspects. Eddie Sasa said, wasn't Ariel in the top 10 back when Wilder beat him? He was in the top 10 as far as the WBC is concerned, but I don't. But as far as the top 10 is in the world rankings, no, he wasn't. I think he was in the 15th or 16th as far as world rankings. But in the WBC, he was in the top 10. Let me see. Stevenson did get his eyes swole out versus Duopa. He damn nearly got KO'd by Molina, outboxed. Well, it's funny because Stevenson got nearly pieced up by Williams Jr., didn't he not? Didn't he get put down by from far in the first fight? Remember that? And Stevenson had to resort to so-called dirty tactics by punching from far in the back of the head, so that way he'd get back in the fight against him. Remember? I remember low place. Yeah. Let's not. No, don't play. You can't be keeping one sided here, man. You got to keep it fair now. If you're gonna go after Wilder for that, have a tough time against decent opponents. You got to say the same for Stevenson. He had a tough time against Von Farr. He had a very tough time against Williams Jr. And he fucking cherry picks Sikorsky, a fight that nobody wanted to see. So let's keep it fair here, shall we? Let's keep it fair. Hey, didn't he get knocked out by a cab driver named Darnell Boone? I mean, Wilder did get knocked out by a guy like that. Let's see. Oh, Intellect 123. Let's see what's going on, man. I know you kind of be vocal sometimes. Old school fantasy fight matchups. Let's see. Jack Johnson versus Gentleman Jim. Who wins? Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. That right there. That's a good one, man. That's a very, very good one. Jack Johnson versus Jim Corbett. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Dude, that's a good one. Let's see. That's a very, very interesting matchup. That would be. Look, Corbett didn't really have a long career like Johnson did. You can say Johnson fought a lengthy better opposition than Corbett, even though Corbett did fight very good opposition despite his very short career. But I don't know, man. I just think that Corbett will have a difficult time dealing with Johnson's height and reach and power. So I would have to favor Johnson to win that fight. And Johnson had a very good jab. Of course, you got to give credit to Joe Konsky for teaching him that while they were both in prison together. He was teaching him the fundamentals of using his height and his reach and his jab and his strength and his height. So I definitely have to favor, again, Johnson to win that fight against gentleman Jim Corbett. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I definitely do. Let's talk boxing this weekend, Dan. What's your thoughts? Yeah, we were talking about that the other day on Beats, not Beats, on EJ's Hangout. Her versus Lara. I'm definitely favoring Lara to win that fight because I think Lara's not just a superior boxer. Looking at Jared Hurd's last two fights, he has really struggled against guys who move around a lot. But what's worked to Jared Hurd's his favor is that he does have unbelievable endurance, and his chin does work extremely well. So he doesn't really show respect for those guys who try to move against him. So that's that's the thing that could work to his favor against Lar. But the thing about Lar is that I think he has much more pop in his punches than the likes of Trout, who Lar beat, by the way, put down in their fight twice, and Harrison. So I think I'm gonna have to favor Lar by winning that on points on UD. But again, Hurd could surprise us. But the one thing I'm concerned about Hurd is that his punch resistance may be depleting because he's taking a lot of shots already, heavy shots, even from Harrison and Trout. So I don't know. We have to see what his punch resistance look like. Let me see. Let's see. Well, I mean, some people got hurt. Fair enough. Let me see. Rosclaw says Boone is a hard fighter for anyone. You know that, Dan. Yeah, I know that. I mean, you could say he's better than what his record suggests, but the fact is his record is his record. Okay, all right. I mean, look, Stevenson got knocked out by that guy. All right, and Wilder has fought just as awkward fighters, just like Boone. He has, and Wilder put those guys out. Plain and simple. We agree what's happening. Fox Strike says, "What you think about her being bigger than ever at 168 at the conference?" Yeah, dude, that dude looks extremely big. I mean, damn. I mean, her looks like a goddamn. He looks like a light heavyweight, man. I mean, seriously, I think he could. He could definitely, if he were to leave 154, he could jump up to 168. I think he can. Dude looks totally big for 154. Totally big. Boone is one of the best journeymans ever. I mean, hey, he could be. I mean, Buck Smith. I mean, wasn't Buck Smith considered a journeyman at one point? A high level journeyman at one point? No, actually, he wasn't. He was a contender, but still, he didn't really lack the skills. uh, whatever. Along with Augustus, Manuel Augustus was a very good. He was a danger journeyman. I mean, he was a very awkward, very tricky style. I mean, he had that drunken style of fighting, clowning guys in the ring because he moved his head a lot. He gave Floyd Mayweather his run for his money at one point when they were fighting at super featherweight. So yeah, let's see. Momentum's on her. Yeah, Suleiman. Yeah, it is on his side, but I'm going to favor Lara to win that fight. Derek Williams, what's going on, man? He says that Stevenson ducked festival with Ward. You have to face the best of your division. No credit from me. Well, you know what, though? Let's just be fair here. Stevenson did not fight the best of his division. We all know that. He did not. Okay? He had an opportunity to fight Kovalev the first time on HBO. He ran away from that fight and decided to move over to Showtime because he wanted a bigger fight against Bernard Hopkins. In all fairness, Kovalev did fight to become Stevenson's mandatory for the WBC title, and Kovalev avoided 3 purse bids, or at least his promoter, Kathy Duva, did. Okay? Because they knew they were not going to be having him in the purse bid, and the fight would have to end up on Showtime, in which Kathy Duva did not want. Okay? Stevenson, on the other hand, priced himself out against Hopkins, backed out of the negotiations because he wanted to accept the lower split, which he should have done, because if he had done that, he would be in more position to get higher purses and dictate the terms like Kovalev did. So he fucked up in that situation. And he did not fight Arthur Beterbiev when Arthur Beterbiev called him out for a fight. Okay? So Low Place seems to keep dismissing that fact. He doesn't want people to not know the truth. Yeah, I'm telling lies again. Yeah, Stevenson did back out of the negotiations against Hopkins when he didn't want to accept the low split. He didn't want to do that. That's a fact. All right, just like you tell lies about Andre Ward killing his promoter. You want to go there? Exactly. He didn't want to fight Arthur Beterbiev. Well, Arthur Beterbiev was calling him out. Okay. So look, here's the thing. If Stevenson is that great, why did he go up to cruiserweight? In fact, why did he take his ass up to heavyweight and fight Deontay Wilder? Why is he doing that? Hmm? Well, Ross Cloud, if you think I'm causing trouble, then you don't need to be in the chat, bro. That's up to you. You can get on out. I didn't misquote Jack. I asked you, did he say that? Anyways, you do a lot more talking about Stevenson's career than what he actually's done. I mean, seriously. I mean, you talk about lineal champions, this, that, and the third. Let me tell you something. Ezra Charles was never a lineal champion at light heavyweight, and he has a far better resume at light heavyweight than Adonis Stevenson has. Far better resume. All right? Let's take Lloyd Marshall, another guy. Far better resume at light heavyweight than fucking Adonis Stevenson. Lloyd Marshall was a natural fucking small guy, a middleweight. Oh, so come on, bro. Who you kidding? Who you kidding, man? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's see what else we got here. All right, everybody, I'm gonna send you the links. Relax. Barcelonistic, what's going on? I talk about Wilder all day? No, I don't. I don't talk about Wilder all day. I never said that Wilder was the greatest heavyweight of all time. I never said he was the best man at heavyweight. How many times I have to tell you this, Low Place? I said that Anthony Joshua is the best heavyweight right now at heavyweight. I've been on record say that many times. At least I'm rational with my logic thinking when it comes to one of the fighters that I like. All right, but you want to give Stevenson all these passes while you criticize fighters for the same shit that Stevenson does. Same shit. All right. First of all, I never said that Wilder deserves a 50-50 split against Joshua. I always said that he's a B side. He has to take the lower split. Opposed to you, Stevenson was the B side of Hopkins, which you wouldn't accept. And fuck that lineal champion argument, all right? Bernard Hopkins was a lineal champion. He took a lower split against De La Hoya. All right? He was a unified champion against fucking Trinidad. He took the lower split. Michael Spinks was a fucking lineal champion when he took the lower split against Mike Tyson. All right? Kusalovich, all right, was a name at the time who was a draw, took the higher split when Ezra Charles was the heavyweight champion of the world. So come on, let's stop with the bullshit, bro. No, he's not the greatest heavyweight in the world, Rascal. Come on, man. Wilder is not there. He's not even close. He's still got a lot of work to do. All right, low place. Tell me something about Gusalanovich. Do you know who he was? Rascal says that Stevenson has a better resume than Wilder. I don't know about that. I think they're pretty equal. Yes, Stevenson's got a couple one ups. I think he has a let's see, he has a pound for pound win. I'll give him that over Chad Dawson. He beat the Leo champion Wilder didn't. He's beaten a little more champions than Wilder. So yeah, he is kind of even. But again, maybe you want to edge it a little bit. That's fine. That's fine. But I would say though is that Wilder has been more active than Stevenson. All right. And Wilder beat a very prime guy, and he had his best, and Stevenson hasn't done that. He hasn't done that. Fafar, are you fucking kidding me? Andrew Fafar has a better resume than fucking wait Deontay Wilder. Seriously? Really? Fafar? Okay, hold up. All right, he beat a fade up Jad Dawson. He beat a overhyped Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Are you serious? Glenn Johnson, who's way past his best. Okay, look, no disrespect to Fafar, but Fafar's best wins against guys who are way over the hill's been punched up already. Just like Stevenson's best wins at light heavyweights against guys who are punched up way over the hill. Let's be real. All right, let's all be fair. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Wilder has taken on some guys who are kind of insufficient as well. That's true. But all the guys, all three of them have similarities. Ali all day. What's going on, man? What's going on, brother? He says that Wilder is the best heavyweight of this era. I don't care what anybody says. Hey, that's fine, man. That's your opinion. I'm not going to knock you for that. That's cool. But the fact is that I just really believe that Joshua is the best heavyweight right now because he has the better resume, and he's done a little bit more than Wilder in less than even though he's got less than 21 pro fights. I'll be on record to say that. But yet people criticize me when I give Wilder the benefit of the doubt, who I praise Joshua. Even I praise Joshua. So I'm not gonna let people thoughts about me influence my logical thinking. All right, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, Stevenson fought for far fought Stevenson, but he didn't beat him. So what's your point? Yeah. Anyways, speaking of Stevenson, this dude low place in the chat, right? He says that Adonis Stevenson will beat Deontay Wilder if he moves up to heavyweight. I'm gonna ask you guys this question: can Adonis Stevenson beat Deontay Wilder? I say hell the fuck no. Stevenson will get fucking bodied in the ring. I hate to say the word body. He'll get his ass iced in the ring by fucking Deontay Wilder. And you know that. All right. I'm gonna ask people in the comment section. All right, you tell Stevenson to go up to fucking heavyweight then. Push his ass up there to fight Wilder. Wilder doesn't need to chase him. Tell him to go after Wilder. You tell him to do that. Roscoe, I know that. I just said that. Wilder has fought a lot of guys with dozens of losses. Who hasn't? Stevenson's done that too in the early stage of his career as well. They've all done it. Yeah, boy, what's going on, man? Well, Ross Clark, I know you retracted that message, but to save low place. But the fact is that he was the one that said that Stevenson will go up there to go up to heavyweight and knock Wilder out. And he must be crazy. There's limitations in all this. I know light heavyweights can go up there and beat heavyweights. I understand that. That's been done in the past. But let's be honest, Adonis Stevenson is not like a Michael Spinks who could go up there and beat Larry Holmes. All right, he's not an Ezra Charles that moved up to light heavyweight and beat Joe Lewis. So I mean, trust me, I'm not comparing these fighters to those Stevenson to those fighters. I'm not doing that, and I'm not comparing Wilder to those heavyweights. I'm just saying is that there's limitations to everything, and Stevenson just hasn't shown me where he can do that. It's not gonna happen. I agree. I mean, Stevenson's gonna have to find a way to negate Wilder's long reach and get inside. So I don't see him doing that. Oh, okay, I see it, Ross Clyde. You didn't retract it. Okay, I see it now. Derek Williams says, "Tell these clowns to get in the ring with Wilder and see if they come out unstretched." Mr. Doc says, "No, try to get Adonis killed." Oh yeah, Dick Justice says that Stevenson is no fucking Roy Jones. He's no fucking Roy Jones, Patterson, Charles, or Spink. Yeah, I forgot to mention Floyd Patterson, who also went up to heavyweight and won a heavyweight title. So yeah, so oh man, MOBC. Hey, I got no problem with the MOBC. My own boxing community. That's cool. Oh, Roscott, you put me in the MOBC? I guess I'm honored. We can't possibly. He ain't beat no Wilder. Yeah, that's another thing. Wings King Stevenson's footwork is pretty slow. And Arthur Spilka has faster feet than Adonis Stevenson, and he was a southpaw. And he's a larger, bigger man, a cruiserweight. He ain't telling lies. Stevenson's feet is not as fast as Arthur Spilka. His footwork is pretty slow. Why you call him a fucking liar? He ain't stupid. He's telling the truth. His footwork is not that fast, low place. Let's be real. Okay, you said that while you say he'll beat Wilder because Wilder's clumsy. Well, explain how Wilder was able to knock out Arthur Spilka, who was far more technical, who had faster feet, who was very awkward, and Wilder had difficulty dealing with him in that fight, even though he took that fight on 4-week notice, and Wilder knocked that guy out. You telling me that Stevenson's able to do how Stevenson? All right, let me just say this. Do you really believe that Stevenson could be able to handle that power and that athleticism and that awkwardness of Deontay Wilder? You really believe that he could do that? Dwayne Jones, low place getting heat. I know. Hey, this is what he did. I'm going to bring you guys in right now. This is what he did. I know I got a few minutes, but let me go ahead and bring you guys in. Hold on. Because we're doing a fantasy matchup right here. Fantasy matchup. All right, people. Yeah, but let's talk about Friends of Kendall. I know we gotta talk about that. Yeah, he haven't fought in 4 years, and yet he's still ranked high by the WBA. That's fucking ridiculous, right there. I need to get on that in another video. All right, guys, they got the link, so let's see if the people will come in. Dwayne Jones, let me see if I get you in here, brother. I think I got you. Give me 1 second, man. I know you're in the other chat. Let me get you in here.
What's up, Dan?
What up, Charlie? What up, big bro? I'm good, man. Today's the weekend. It's Friday. I just thought I'd take the time to come on here and chop it up a little bit.
Yep. I'm just listening. I'm going to chime in afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I know I see him got on right now, but before we get to the Wilder Stevenson fantasy matchup, I want to ask you about Joshua and Povetkin first bid being ordered, man. What are your thoughts on that? Not first bid. WBA ordering. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the WBA ordering it. Yeah, a bit of a funny one, to tell you the truth. So it looks like he's gonna have to fight Povetkin next, which I suppose he can swerve him though, couldn't he?
No, I don't think. No, he can't do it. No, he can't do it, and let me explain why. And trust me, I favor unifications before mandatories. But the problem is that the WBA mandatory has not been fulfilled for the last 3 years. The last guy that was able to do that was Vladimir Klitschko against Ryan Jennings. Right. So, and the WBA has already granted 2 exemptions, 2 unification bouts already. One with Joshua and Klitschko, and just recently Parker and Joshua. So,
right. So he's got it. All right. So it's looking like they'll have to fight. I think that's a good fight because he needed to have a fight in between anyway. And so does Wilder, don't you think? So that's good in that sense.
Not Povetkin out.
I would have preferred to see Miller though.
Yeah, I know. I would have too because he's talking a lot of shit.
Yeah. and he's unbeaten as well. So it's good. It adds to the record. But yeah, I guess we've got it. Will be Povetkin. They'll make it. Do you think that fight will be in Russia?
You know what? That's a high possibility because Povetkin's people, they never lose a purse bid. I mean, it'll be a miracle that Eddie Hearn can work out a deal to bring the fight over to the UK. That would be a miracle if he'd be able to do that. I mean, if Eddie could do that, I'll power to him. I'll give him full praises if he's able to do that. I mean, because
you don't lose a purse bid unless he wants to.
But wait
exactly,
or he doesn't care enough. You know what I mean?
What if he does choose to fight somebody else that's ranked by the WBA, like Jerome Miller?
Well, he can't do that. He can't get no more exemptions.
He be ducking.
He can't do that. He has to fight the mandatory. It's been, I mean, trust me. Yeah, Big Baby's ranked up there too, but the mandatory has been due for the last 2 years now. So it has to be done. And trust me,
he could drop that. Could he drop that belt and still be considered?
Nah, he ducking, Charlie. Ducking. Flat out.
He wouldn't be ducking if he went to fight Wilder.
You better go to Russia and all that, or you ducking. You know what I'm saying?
That's all right. Vinsky taking a loss to friggin' winning first bids and shit.
But let me just say this. Well, see, if Joshua drops a belt, he doesn't get ranked by the WBA because he's a champion. No other section of the body ranks another champion unless it's the WBC. They'll make that exception, or I should say. But yeah, he drops it. Yeah, it's gonna kind of look bad on him. But EJ, we all were talking about that the other day because look, Joshua could be feeling a little bit of heat and stress based off the situation, so he doesn't. He really probably doesn't want it. He's like, look, I mean, I'm young. It's early in my career. I could drop the belt. I could get it back some way somehow.
No, bro.
He got knocked on his back for that belt. He got knocked on his ass for that belt.
All I can think, Dan, is try to imagine if we'd had full-blown social media, right? Back when Riddick threw his belt in the trash.
Well, there's a difference here because Riddick Bowe was not at the early stage of his career. I mean, he gave me that fight, 25 pro fights, whatnot. He already fought the best opposition.
Yeah, I was going to say he wasn't at the later stages of his career either. I mean,
well, here's the difference though. Riddick Bowe made it clear.
I guess then again, Bowe's career kind of got cut short. But my point is, dude, Bowe got more heat for chucking the belt in the trash than he did for the fact that it was Lennox Lewis.
Well, yeah. That's a good point. I'm not saying Joshua won't get heat. He will definitely get heat if he drops that belt.
It's gonna be meme central. It's gonna be meme central.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Riddick Bowe made it clear that he will not fight Lennox Lewis under any circumstances. Mm-hmm. That was a cowardly.
My point is Riddick Bowe didn't have to worry about friggin' 250 memes a day popping up on his cell phone.
Nope.
That's true. That's the difference. Yeah, that's a good point. Because back then, social media didn't really exist. So Riddick Bowe didn't have to worry about facing detractors like fans online or social media platforms.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why.
That's why he tweets from people. Exactly.
So in that day, back in the day, you could only face the only critics you have to face were the writers. It was only about a handful of them that you could face. That was it. You know what I mean? So as of right now, you face over thousands of millions of fans online, and they will harass you like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I mean,
if he dropped that belt and be on that boy like one of them damn them squat belts he be putting on, boy, he gonna get on his ass, boy. You drop that belt, you duck. I don't care. They tell you go to Sochi, Russia. You better drop that.
He sure as hell can't literally do a Riddick Bowe and have a press conference and literally throw it in the trash because that's just giving the trolls fodder. You know what I mean?
It's going down. He got knocked on his ass for that.
Just like a story, you know what I mean? Even if all they get is text, they're gonna come up with
he beat the ATG for that belt. Knocked on his ass, got up and knocked him back on his ass. All to drop it? Oh hell no! Hell no! Your ass getting the licks after that. Nah. I wouldn't expect nothing at heavyweight after that. Not Wilder, not none of them. Don't even talk to me about weight no more. If that's what they doing up there. I don't know about all that.
Right, well, Lo, if you're gonna do that,
it's been done before, so you may as well give up on heavyweight now.
I'm going after anybody with it. He pull that Canelo shit if he want. Nah, bro. I mean, his fans, he's still gonna sell and shit. But that's some whole shit. Povetkin earned this shot. If he tell you, I don't think they gonna go to Russia, but if he do, go knock his motherfucking ass out. That's all you gotta do. Knock his ass out.
Like I said. Although in a way this is also kind of a reflection of how poorly we treated Lennox Lewis. Riddick Bowe got more shit for the fact of just chucking his, the fact that he threw a belt in the trash than the fact that he was ducking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's true. That's true. But you know what the thing is too, man. I at the end of the day, I don't think he's gonna drop it, but I wouldn't rule out that possibility because nobody wants to go to Russia, especially the scandal. That's a very scandal riddled territory. When it comes to athletics and sports.
Eddie better be working overtime. With that narrative if they're gonna do that.
Man, I ain't giving Joshua that out, man. I'm not saying
why
we talking about him in that light. Why we even talking about him in that light, man? Like, he gonna pussy out? Nah, bro.
I don't think he's realistic possibilities.
No. He's not gonna pussy. He's not. I don't think he's gonna pussy out. I would like to see the fight, but I just don't see the importance of Povetkin and the WBA at this moment.
Right.
I've heard this as a rumor. Is it true? Ryabinski's operated at a loss before to get fights over there.
Financial loss. Yeah, it could be. It's possible. Okay, I
was gonna say because if that's true, that it's pretty screwed up. Because Eddie can't even be like, look, you'll make more money out here. Yeah. Because if that's the case, Ryabinski don't care about the money.
He said Ortiz is a bigger Black C's in the chat lion.
Well, that's his opinion.
Oh my God.
That's his opinion.
Anything for this fool, man. Anything for this Deontay shit, man.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this though. Povetkin and his team do have the power to go ahead and call for the purse bid. Not Joshua and Hearn. So, they could actually do it too. So either party can do it. So. But of course, Povetkin and his team might do it first. So now the thing is, if they have 30 days to come up with a deal, and then after that, then the purse bid be called. But they can still call it within 30 days, and that will put Joshua and Hearn in the corner. So that'd be interesting to see what happens the next few days. So
Ortiz is certainly a better win than your boy Adonis.
Yeah.
Wilder, no, he ain't. Wilder get fucked up with Adonis. Why? Because he's slow.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna talk about that right now. We're gonna talk about that right now. Hold on.
Take the opinion.
No, we're gonna talk about that right now.
Why are you entertaining that, man?
Ortiz slow as fuck. Hey, somebody punch, man. Just because you tall don't mean you can't get hit from up under your ass and get knocked.
Let me ask you something. Who's Adonis fought that was longer in range like Wilder? Who's athletic?
Somebody who come forward and much more.
No. Answer the question.
I'm telling you right now, they come forward. He much more complete with every punch except for just a right hand fun fire. Wilder ain't coming forward. He too fucking clumsy to come forward.
Oh, this guy's nuts. This guy's nuts.
No, wait. I want to be clear here. Are you saying? Stop. Low place. Are you saying Fanfaro is a better fighter than Wilder?
No, I'm saying he's more complete at what he was trying to do.
Wilder
is nothing more. Once again.
He never answers questions. He never answers questions directly.
Hold on. Okay.
Keep his game.
Can you answer
his game, folks? No place don't ever answer questions directly, man.
One at a time.
Hold on. Let me finish. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, because y'all keep putting this best in there, like the best name on Muhammad Ali.
Hold
on. I'm answering your question. This best comment don't mean you the best opponent. All right, it does not mean that. You need to look at what Wilder can do. The
nigga's a politician, man. What's the
nigga can't stand on his own 2 feet. He tripped over his fucking feet when he tried to come forward. The nigga can't fight. He only got a right hand.
All right, let me give you
one for governor. Let's do
this shit.
Yes.
Hey, hold up. PNC, unmute yourself, man.
Let's do this.
PNC. What's up, man? Hey, low play say that Stevenson could knock out Wilder if he go up to heavyweight. What's your thoughts on that?
He sure could.
No, let PNC answer. Let PNC answer.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
Okay.
Hey.
See, we complain about what's his name? They say what's his name? Oh, Stevenson already 40. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Jump 2-3 weight classes to fight a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Come on now.
He 10. No, the fuck he ain't. Ortiz
he's like 45.
Ortiz 52. He just ain't told you.
That's the only thing.
That nigga Adonis 10, 15 miles per hour faster than Ortiz, and he ain't dead at the end of the 7th round because he just whooped your ass. All right, Wilder got clipped by an old man that can't use deodorant because his blood pressure.
He's a light heavyweight. I would hope that a light heavyweight would be a little bit faster than Ortiz.
And Wilder ain't used to that. You seen Spilka just dancing around the ring, fucking with him and toy. That's why.
You understand that Adonis
is not fast, bro. Spilka is not fast. He is not skilled. He's wild and an ugly fighter. And Wilder struggled for like what 8 rounds.
Adonis has technique, and that's it. Adonis has great technique, but his feet are
slow,
and accuracy. But his feet are slow.
Oh, he's slow. Okay. Oh, he's slow. You fucking crazy.
Wilder's feet are faster. They are faster. You don't get it. Like you said, Adonis has better technique. What part of that?
Tony Bellew 6'3". You got to cut the distance to get there, but his feet are slow.
What are you?
So Tony Bellew's got fast feet now?
No. We're not comparing. We're comparing the distance you have to cut to get there.
I would say this. I would say this.
Y'all understand the difference between technique and actual physical speed.
I know what Adonis has. He ain't got to bring nothing else but what he got. That big clumsy motherfucker wouldn't handle it. He's retarded in the ring.
All right, let me say something. Let me say something. Hold on, Mr. Doc. Let me say something. First of all, you going at Ortiz. Hold on, Charlie. I'll get you in this.
Adonis would be retarded afterwards from brain damage.
Hold up, Mr. Doc. Hold up. I'll get Charlie in, then after Mr. Doc, you go after Charlie. But I'll say this though. You going after Luis Ortiz. You say he's slow, this, that, and the third. But I'll tell you something. If Luis Ortiz fought Adonis Stevenson right now, he will knock his ass the fuck out. And you know that. You damn right.
He might not. Honestly, he might
not. He would.
Only way he gonna do that is lay on him. Wilder don't know how to do that. Wilder has not done it. You talking about different fighter. We're talking about a head-to-head matchup.
We're talking about head-to-head. We're talking about head-to-head. Ortiz wouldn't be able to deal with
a change. He don't know how to deal with the change of level.
Adonis would not have a technique.
All right, okay, that's what you think. The left hand is set up better than any other punching box in the day.
Ortiz has a better left hand than Adonis.
Nigga, please.
I'm telling the truth.
That nigga Luis Ortiz left hand could knock out who? Malik Scott? Malik Scott?
Adonis Stevenson don't even have a decent jab.
All right. Why do you need the jab with Wilder? Why do you need the jab with Wilder if you're a light heavyweight?
No, we're talking about Ortiz versus Adonis at the moment.
Guys, the mistake people make with Stevenson is they're staying right in front of him.
Who?
That's the mistake. We ain't see nobody dance around.
I'd argue this
conversation. They didn't want to try. Ward didn't want to try to dance around them. PNC. That's the problem. You ain't. He didn't want to try to.
Okay, let me get Charlie here.
I'm gonna get Charlie. I don't want to.
Hold on. Get Charlie in it.
This matchup, right? This fantasy matchup. What is this? A catch weight? Or
no, tell that bitch to sign the contract.
Or wait a minute.
We going to heavyweight and knocking his pussy ass out.
Stevenson heavyweight. So what is
Stevenson's going up.
Go ahead, let Charlie finish.
All right, Stevenson's going up, right? Stevenson's
going up. He's got to
be
200 minimum, doesn't he, guys?
With his same.
Hold on. Let Charlie finish.
With his same dimensions, yeah, with the same height and reach and everything else.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
Wilder.
Exactly.
I would not fight Wilder, boy. I would not fight Wilder.
I would.
If I was well skilled, I would. He's too big, man. He's too big.
You see these short ass heavyweights cleaning him up that are no fucking good. Duhopper's ain't no good. Spilka ain't no good. They only
Ortiz ain't no good.
They only give
Ortiz ain't no good.
Stopped in the fight. The nigga needed politics not to get stopped.
What the fuck are you talking about? This dude crazy.
Hold on. They put the man in the corner in the 8th round with no cuts. Let me see your eyes. Breathe a little bit. Get recovered. The old man gassing out over there. That old
Let's turn this into the torn glove.
Take the work. Take the work.
You take the work. You getting work from me, bro.
That slow 40-year-old plus. Man, nobody want to let low place finish. Nobody want to let low place finish, man. Everybody else get to finish. Low place can't finish, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting warmed up over here. Because that 48-year-old Cuban, that 48-year-old Cuban that ain't seen his family in 15 years. He eats so bad every night. He's stressed, so he got high blood pressure. He can't breathe. He stopped Wilder with slow feet, no aggression. Adonis Stevenson would box circles around that lanky, clumsy, uncoordinated, dumb motherfucker.
Well, I tell you what. If he's struggling against a Thomas Williams Jr. who's going to crash Arthur Spilker.
Send the contract.
Yeah, you tell him. You tell him.
Send the contract, bro.
You tell him to go off the heavyweight.
Adonis fired Yvonne Michelle and hired Yulo Place. Is that what's going on here?
Send him the contract. Heavyweights that fall for world titles. Send the contract. Send it, bro.
I tell you what,
easy work. He easy work. Go to Canada. They do 20,000 tickets.
Go to fucking Canada.
They do 20,000 tickets.
Wilder don't have to chase. Hold on. Wilder don't have to chase.
Why not? You a world champion.
Wilder don't have to chase. Wilder don't have to. Hold on.
Every advantage,
Hey, homeboy. First of all, Hold on. Be quiet. Hold up. First of all, Wilder don't have to chase Stevenson. You tell Stevenson to get his punk ass up the foot. Chase Stevenson. And you take that work. You tell him.
All right, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I'll put up videos of harass Stevenson to do that shit.
Go ahead. I want you to. So you can see Wilder eat left hands and get knocked the fuck out because he does not know how to box.
I know this is comedy. This is shit.
Yo, why is this guy screaming like that, dog?
I know.
What the fuck wrong with
He's
you?
making my words out. Motherfucker won't let me finish my comments, man.
Oh, we'll let you finish if you.
I literally went outside, smoked the whole Newport 100, came back, and this dude is still screaming. I don't understand.
We own this shit. Somebody want to get their point out, and I'll show you.
Can I ask you something, Lo? Can I ask you a question?
All these.
Stevenson got knocked out by Darnell Bill. What makes you knock out Wilder?
And Wilder just got knocked out by a 49-year-old with high blood pressure. But they politically safe.
Are you saying Darnell Bill's better than Ortiz?
You know
is that what you're saying?
We worry about Darnell Bill.
Let me ask a question. Right? Let me ask a serious question.
Go ahead, man.
And I'm going to be very serious about this.
Let's go.
I'm going to entertain this. Okay, what is Stevenson's fighting style? Anybody besides Low Place? Because Low Place is going to start screaming.
They don't know. They said he got slow feet. What do you think Stevenson has?
He like to position himself to fight to get his left head off.
Ben, do you think Adonis has slow feet?
Strong outboxer, man.
Okay, Ben.
Okay, and thank you, Mr. Doc. Right. So you're telling me that he's gonna set up to shoot that left hand from the outside against Deontay Wilder, who is 6'7", he's 5'11", and he's gonna shoot that left hand and hit him on the chin before Wilder hits him on the chin with a right hand from the outside.
Wilder ain't gonna know shit.
He has no inside game to speak of.
He ain't gonna know shit about the time, and that's a lie. But hey, let's tell that lie and get away with it, because Wilder definitely doesn't have one. But let's tell that lie.
You want to get a 5'11", 175-pound man who's small at light heavyweight.
How tall are you, Ben?
6'3" and 3/4.
All right. Have you ever had a quicker, smaller man guarding you, where you guard him in basketball or anything like that, and they get under you and they can be around you quicker than you? Look at the NCAA tournament. Time out. Don't nobody interrupt real quick. Give me 30 seconds. The NCAA tournament, you got all these 6'10" recruits. They play small forward. Then you get these little ass schools that got 6'3" small forwards that ball on their ass because they have agility more than them. They have angles. They have everything. They slow.
But the difference is in basketball, you're not getting punched in the mouth.
Okay,
that's a major difference.
The other difference is Adonis is the one with slow feet because he's old, dude.
You're trolling. If you think he's slow, why people ain't beating him and knocking him out, Doc?
But he doesn't have slow feet, but he's not beating Deontay Wilder.
Exactly.
He's not beating Deontay Wilder.
Anybody saying Adonis got slow feet shouldn't be participating in the contest.
He's got technique.
That's true.
He's got technique. His feet are physically slow, bro. Stop it.
That's crazy. If that's what you're saying, you literally have no reason. Like, you gotta tell me. You gotta tell me why the man has
not listening, Lo. That's all it is.
No. You're not telling the truth. That's
bro. And Lopez, you wonder why fucking people get on you because you take these crazy stances, bro.
I believe it.
These stances are nuts.
Wilder sucks, bro. The man cannot punch nothing that turns him. He has no clue. My man sucks. I've seen it with my own eyes. I think Tony Bell, you should fight the motherfucker. Do it. Why not? The man sucks. He stands right in the front. He can't move nowhere unless he
Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew was terrified of Wilder. He was terrified of Wilder. What are you talking about?
He shouldn't be.
Tony Bellew was terrified. He even admitted that he was
himself. He started himself.
He was terrified of David Haye too. He was terrified of David Haye too. David Haye.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Are you comparing David Haye to Deontay Wilder's athleticism?
Ain't nothing wrong with being scared. Ain't nothing wrong with being scared, bro. Nothing wrong with it.
I'm telling you this right now, Lopez. I gotta chop this section of the video off, put it up on my channel, bro. I
dare all of you to them punk motherfuckers across the street. I dare you to tell that big sorry Southern bastard to send a contract.
What the hell wrong?
No, time out.
This shit is pure entertainment, man. I'm not even gonna get mad at him today. This shit's hilarious.
If the motherfucker good as you say he is, tell him to go be a world champion. Go up to Canada, 20,000 pay-per-view in Canada.
I gotta say something, Lo. I'm gonna read one comment. I'm gonna read one. I will relate.
You really think Adonis Stevenson, bro? You really think Adonis Stevenson would sign that contract?
I think he would give that motherfucker all kind. Put the money up, man. Why not? It's a big ass fight. It's the biggest name you ever fought.
Now we gotta put the money up.
Al Heyman there.
To watch your boy get his head knocked off.
Why can't they make $5 million each? Why can't they make $5 million each? Why can't they make $5-6 million each?
I'm not against it. I'd love to watch your guy get duped, but I'm just saying.
Let's do this shit. Let's do it. Fuck it. He ain't that good. If the motherfucker was that good, I wouldn't be entertaining this. But his ass don't know the first. Bruh, somebody changed levels on him, faint him. He don't know. He don't know. He's lost. He got to be in special ed boxing at the heavyweight division where they suck and they can't fight very long.
I gotta say this, bro. One guy in the comment section, Justice. Hold on.
Wait. You just call the heavyweight division
the special ed division.
Okay.
Special ed division.
I just wanted to clarify. Make sure that's what you're saying.
Yo, what up, Dwayne? You in?
Yeah, I'm in now.
All right, good.
Long.
Yeah, here we go, man. Hey, good to have you on. So, what do you think about this? Wilder versus Stevenson, man. Who's gonna win that fight?
Oh, come on, man. Stevenson getting knocked out.
Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. Everybody on here, I challenge you. Make the video. Tell him, man, look, send the contractor, the cruiserweights, the light heavy. You're not gonna be able to be no quick person. You're not gonna be able to be no quick person, bro. He ain't gonna do it, man. He ain't gonna do it. He better hope Badu Jack beat him because he damn sure can't.
Say this, Lo. You gonna get your boy killed. Don't do it.
Kill him. You'll finally get a good fucking opponent on your resume that wasn't 40 and unproven. Do it.
Someone please call.
So now hang on. I want to make sure we're clear on this tweet now. Shut up. Oh, did you just say that beating a light heavyweight Adonis in his 40s?
I'll give him more credit than any other opponent. That's a pound for pound #1 fighter in this world. Okay. Nobody can take that punch. Nobody can take the setup. Nobody can deal with the Emmanuel Stewart teachings he provides, Wilder included. The boy is trained by a retard, a manager. His manager.
Mark Breland. That's why they
Mark
Breland.
Hold on.
JDs. Don't twist my words.
No. You said
about
JD.
JD trains him. You see him working.
No, he doesn't. Mark Breland trains him. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Dwayne. You know who Mark Breland is.
I know who Mark Breland is, but JD's helps train him, and sometimes they work exclusively, and that motherfucker still can't fight.
No. If you knew who Mark Breland was, you wouldn't have said what you said.
Mark Breland need to get on his horse because Deontay Wilder don't know a motherfucking thing. That nigga suck. He sucks.
Dwayne, get in this, man.
Yeah. No, listen. First of all, put some respect on Mark Breland's name.
Somebody pissed off those Wheaties today.
Let's go.
But listen, if Wilder fights Ortiz, all I'm saying there's someone, please call 911, please.
Call him.
Yeah.
Call him. Tell him get an extra large stretcher because we putting that bitch on one tonight, baby. In the fucking country. In the fucking country. Let's do this shit. That nigga suck. Y'all be sucking that nigga dick and he suck. Let's tell him.
Low.
Pause.
Everybody be quiet. Everybody, hold up. Everybody be quiet.
Low place don't give a fuck.
Everybody, hold
now
up.
you going too far. Don't nobody be putting nothing. Nobody be doing none of that shit.
I ain't talking about y'all. I said they be sucking his dick, and it's true. So fight.
Yeah, like you suck the dynasty.
Prove it. Every time you tell somebody, he ain't got to do this. He ain't got to do that. Nah, I want to see it.
Low, I'm gonna give you an opportunity. Hold up, because a lot of people think you're crazy. But I'm gonna ask you this. Hold up. Are you actually?
How many
No. Hold on. Hey, be quiet. Hold up. I'm gonna ask you a question. Calm down. I'm gonna ask you this. Are you serious? Do you really believe that Stevenson will beat Wilder if he was
I'm telling you right now, how many heavyweight champions have fought like heavyweight champions? Why is it so bad for him to do it?
Yeah,
he ain't looking.
Let's compare the light heavyweights that have won
what you want to do? Compare him? He can fuck around. Hey, Roy Jones got knocked down by how many southpaws? So you tell me Roy Jones head to head with Adonis probably ain't comparable? Shit. No, Roy Jones got stopped
if
by
you're serious,
he got
are
knocked
you
down by
no. So you're implying you realize no.
I know my shit. Roy Jones got knocked down.
You're implying that John Ruiz is somehow comparable.
I'm implying that Roy Jones would have whooped Deontay Wilder ass too. That's what I'm implying.
That John Ruiz was a comparable threat to Roy Jones, right?
I'm gonna calm down because I'm telling you, I'm up for this. Look, if the man was complete, I wouldn't open my mouth. But the man sucks. He sucks.
Dude, if Stevenson goes, I'm gonna be honest with you. If Stevenson goes up to heavyweight and fought Wilder, he's gonna get killed, bro.
Let's kill him. Fuck it. You think I give a shit? You think I give a shit? You want to know how many bodies I got? I don't give a fuck if he's won the next ones. Fuck him. Do it. I don't think he will.
How old was Roy when he fought John Ruiz? Was he still in his 20s?
Nah.
He wasn't more than 30-something.
Let's do this, man.
Early 30s.
He's not complete. Look, he is providing the biggest question marks in boxing.
Whoa, please. Did you take your lithium today?
All I took today.
He took something today, man. He took something.
I took some tablets of the truth. Every time Wilder fight, we got big ass question marks. Only thing that saves him is that these heavyweights too slow to get away.
That's funny because you know what? You know who else leaves question marks?
He did. To be honest, though, I think there was more criticism this time for Joshua than there was for Wilder. Wilder got no criticism at all, especially for
what?
Getting knocked out.
For looking bad. He was poor. His timing was poor against Ortiz. Ortiz was giving him trouble.
Yeah, but I think.
Hold on. Let Charlie finish. Hold on. Let Charlie finish.
And before you say people expected that, no. I was the only one saying it. Everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody thought that Wilder was going to destroy them, right? Yeah. That Doc picked him as well. But I'm just saying he did look poor. He did struggle.
Well, Charlie, the difference is a lot of a lot of experts and writers expected that because that was Luis Ortiz, number one, and number two, Joseph Parker was written off by everybody. Charlie, you know that. That's the difference between the two, and that's the reason why Joshua got criticized for that. That's the difference. Well, not you guys. Well, some of you may not written him off, but a lot of people written him off.
Yeah, they wrote him off because they wanted to discredit him as a titleist. A whole nother section said, "Oh man, my guy ain't got to fight."
That's not necessarily true, bro. Because I've been writing off Joseph Parker for years. I've been saying he was ass.
I didn't write him off.
Yeah, but
that's a fact.
Some people wrote Joseph Parker off after the Ruiz fight, man.
Because I don't think he beat Ruiz, and I don't think he beat Fury. But I've been saying that before the Joshua fight was fucking signed or even thought about.
That's an undefeated heavyweight titleist. Write him off all you want.
Doesn't matter. He was
written off going into the fight. Undefeated. Dude. You won't change the fact that an O was taken that night from an undefeated young prime champion.
Fine. And we credit to Joshua, but the problem is the atmosphere going into the fight.
And how the fuck do we get back on to Joshua? Let's stick to his insanity.
Let's do that.
I got time. Look, all I'm saying is, bro, the man keeps his chin up in the air. He does not know how to change levels. He does not know how to move laterally way as quick as Adonis Stevenson can. It will be. Look, even if he does beat him, he's not beating him in 3 rounds. It's gonna take 7, 8 to even get the timing. And by that time,
you get your guy killed, bro.
Hold on, please.
No, it's gonna take 1 round. It's gonna take 1 round.
If you think Adonis is that dumb on his feet that he only lasts around with Wilder, Wilder ain't a pressure fighter.
But Wilder he's got very good technique.
He ain't a pressure fighter. Wilder has no pressure.
He's just not fast.
Wilder's not a pressure.
I ain't buying it.
I'm not telling you he's
going to hurt him.
That's the point. He's way faster.
Whenever he hits him on his body, he's going to hurt him.
And
that's what you need to understand.
He can't punch what he can't see. He can't punch what he can't see.
You're making out like he's gonna buzz around Wilder like Amir Khan.
I'm telling you. I'm just saying, man. Wilder got 7 rounds. Wilder got about 7 or 8 rounds, and he got all that time to get his face swole up with left hands because he ain't gonna be able to do it because he's a bum. He's a fucking retard.
Man, I'm about to go fire up my grill and
let's do it.
Guess what? Fire up the grill a little place and make us some burgers, man. Come over and have a beer and calm down a little bit.
I'm gonna throw a big slab of Wilder on that motherfucker for you. Why you do like that mother? He sucked. Let's be flat out honest. The nigga sucked. He got a right hand.
Somebody or something pissed in Lopez's Wheaties this morning, man.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody pissed him off. I don't know who, but somebody pissed him off.
I've been having this argument. The man suck. It went. If you find more, look, Usyk probably gonna beat Wilder if they fight. I believe it. All he got to do is box him. The guy sucks.
That's it. No offense, low place, but that's way more plausible than fucking.
That's how bad I think Wilder is. That even lower divisions, you can go one more. All right.
Usyk can get knocked out too.
He's not.
Usyk can
get knocked out. I'm just saying, Usyk would at least. I give Usyk a snowball chance in hell before fucking Adonis.
Look, if Spilka could get in a title fight at heavyweight, a 5-year reign in light heavyweight should, based on what history says. All right. That's all I'm saying. Knock him out if you want. Knock him out if you want. Knock him out if you want. But you need send the contract. Fuck it. Why not? Why not?
But
what credit will Wilder get for knocking out Adonis Stevenson?
What credit did he get for knocking out Duapop? Huh? He fought
Duapop. Wasn't Duapop undefeated when Wilder fought him? Or maybe he had one loss. Maybe he had one loss.
No. Low place. You've already stated that it'd be a better win than Ortiz. So you need to explain to us how it's a better win than Ortiz.
Ortiz ain't shit.
Okay, and another thing. When Wilder beat Duapop, right? Now everybody says he trash, but people want to give that. If Darrell Miller beats fucking Duapop, that gets him a fucking title shot.
Because he on the come up. That's when you
be fair, bro.
That's when you supposed to take that level fight, when you are a challenger on the come up, not when you a champion. Come on,
bro. He was a champion for what, 30 seconds when he fought Duapop? Duapop was like his first defense.
Man, my man.
That was his first defense, if I'm not mistaken.
My man defended versus Don Poppy. He defended versus Don Poppy and got his fucking eyes swole up. Embarrassment to his state. He was in his own state and walked away with fucking goggles.
Yeah. Well, anyways, you need to calm down, bro. Relax. All right? Relax. Relax.
Y'all on this man like he the big boss man. He ain't shit. He the worst boxer that got a bet.
Yo, low place has been trolling.
Let's go. Hold on.
See what you did, low place. You got everybody kicked off.
I got one even worse. My man fought Eric Molina and Duhapi, Don Poppy back to fucking back, bro.
Hey, can I say something? Hey, you know what? Can I say something? Let me say something.
Are either of those guys better than Carpenter? Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
Hell no, Carpenter was.
Wait. Hey, hold up. Let me say something. And I'll let you get it. Don't interrupt anybody. Let me just say this. You know what's funny? I find funny. The last couple months, all his Wilder criticism, all this, that, and there has actually worked in his favor, and I'm going to tell you why. Good. Because after all this, and the fact that he iced Taverne and he knocked out Ortiz recently, his following has increased over the last couple months. He's been on shows. He's been doing a lot of media blitzes and everything. And all this criticism, whether it's negative or it's whether all the criticism, whether it's positive or negative critique, is working his advantage. Lo, you giving him so much attention that he actually needed.
Good. I get the hold on. Get knocked the fuck out quicker. Good.
Hold on, but Lo, you let Wilder win, bruh. Good. What I mean by that is that if you hate him so much, why do you constantly talk about him every second?
Hey, you brought the topic. You brought the topic, and I'm giving you the truth. He would lose a fight.
Yeah, but the fact is,
trying to get his boy Adonis some pub.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. Yeah,
Dan, you brought this up in the comments. I didn't talk about Wilder. I was talking about an interview with the boxing voice that Badu Jack did. You said, well, tell Wilder, go the fuck up to heavyweight. I said, bring Wilder lanky punk ass on there. That's what I said.
Oh, Stevenson to go up there. You said Stevenson.
Categorically stated Stevenson would beat Wilder.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is the motherfucker don't know how to defend. That is a power punch. He has eyes that swell up. There are ways to stop a fucking fight. The man is garbage. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you.
Oh yeah. So yeah, before I forget, Dan.
Go ahead, Mr. Doc. Go ahead.
Who are some light heavyweights from the past that have actually, low place mentioned, managed to win heavyweight titles? So
don't matter if they won. Don't matter if they won. They didn't fight.
Answer the question. Hold up.
So I know we got Michael Spinks.
Wait, hold up. Hey, look, can you answer the question?
They didn't fight Wilder.
Wait.
Pause. Don't compare Wilder to the fucking great heavyweight stuff.
Hold up, Mr. Doc, hold up. Let's say something. Then I'm mute afterwards. Answer the question, though. What other light heavyweights went up from light heavyweight to win a world title? Tell me which one. How many? I'm not how many. Name them.
Bob Foster fought for one twice. He didn't win it either time, but he didn't fight no bum ass Wilder. He didn't fight no bum ass. Roy Jones won one. He didn't fight no bum ass Wilder.
Okay, Roy Jones.
James Toney beat the shit out of Holyfield. I know it was juiced or whatever.
He didn't win a world title. What are you talking about?
I don't give a fuck if it's the world title or not. He went up there and got victories. He went up there and whooped Tony Bell. You went up there and whooped ass, and Adonis can be next.
All right, hold on. We'll try this again.
Answer the question for him. I don't care.
No. Let's try this again.
If the other heavyweights can fight him, so
all right, bruh. We'll do this again when Mr. Doc asked you.
I don't study that shit. I don't study that. I know.
So you don't know. Thank you.
So you
actually, I was asking you, Dan. To be fair.
To me.
Because I know he doesn't know. Because I know he doesn't know.
I know several that went up, but hey, they done their thing. Fight.
Well, you could go all the way back in time. Bob Fitzsimmons was the first three-weight champion. First he won the title at heavyweight, then he went back down and won the title at light heavyweight. Then from there, many others. Then you have Ezra Charles that went from light heavyweight. Then beat the heavyweight champion Ezra Charles. Joe Louis. And then you have Michael Spinks go up and beat Larry Holmes. And then Roy Jones, we already talked about already, beat John Ruiz. So there's been plenty of others who have done that. So plenty of
don't forget about
Archie Moore never.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris Bird or Michael Moore. Michael Moore. Yeah, that's
Chris
true.
Bird was the best one, probably the middleweight gold, and then
that's true.
That's true. James Toney.
No, James Toney never won it. He never won it. I know he beat John Ruiz, but he got
shit out of Holyfield too.
He won that title, man.
Bob Fitzsimmons, Ezra Charles, Michael Spinks, Roy Jones Jr. We'll throw James Toney in there, and then we got Adonis. Now maybe it's just me, Roy Jones, but maybe it's just me. But one of these doesn't see. One of these, isn't like the others.
One of them is way more duck than others. One of them was the light heavyweight champion when Roy Jones won. All I got to tell you is this: Wilder ain't no motherfucking Muhammad Ali. Wilder ain't no Muhammad Ali. He ain't none of them. He ain't none of that, bruh. He ain't no Joe Frazier. He can't retain. He get knocked out. He is garbage. All right, and you know it. What does he do well? Anybody
getting knocked out by Adonis.
Anybody.
Hold up.
What does he do well? Go ahead and lie, Dan.
I can tell you what he does well. He knocks niggas out.
All right, that's about
it. Hold up, guys. Hold up. Mr. Doc, I know you asked a question about Archie Moore. Actually, Archie Moore never won a heavyweight title. He was light heavyweight champion. Yeah, he never won.
What does Wilder do well, Dan? Please. What does he do well?
What does he do well? He's knocking guys out. But the fact is, hold up. He has defended his title. He's defended his title.
What's his attributes? Okay. What's his attributes? What does he do well? Like what is
Wait. I'll tell you from technical standpoint.
I'll answer the motherfucker.
No, I got it.
Hold on. Ben, you next. Yeah, go ahead.
From a technical standpoint, he does he controls his range very well. He does have a decent jab, even though it's underrated. Wait, let me finish, bro. Damn. Shut up. All right, anyways.
That wasn't me. That was Dwayne.
Oh, okay. I thought it was my bad. My bad, Dwayne. I thought it was low, man. He keeps interrupted. It's all good. But anyways, Wilder uses his range pretty well. He uses his height. He is a little bit squared up sometimes, but he's worked on that a little bit. He uses his jab, even though it's underrated. His athleticism is his best attributes, in my opinion, and his awkwardness, and he does slip his punches pretty well. So, and I would say though, he does follow up with that right hand, which we all knows, with that, with the feints with the left. Sometimes he does the 1-2s come in, but other than that, yeah, that's what he does best.
We are Jack.
Was that your girl in the background?
Somebody got the shorty in the background having a good old time.
That's me.
Who did he out jab? Like, who did this man out jab? Like, literally for what's the key? Oh,
but did you see the punch that against I'm trying to be serious. That I'm not trying to yell and do all this dumb shit. Lopez just wants to turn up on everything.
Come on.
Did you see the punch that hurt Ortiz initially in that? I think it was the 10th round, where Wilder slipped him on the ropes, and they got it in slow mo. You can see Wilder setting up that. Oh, this motherfucker missed that punch. You can see him setting up that right hand, and he banged him with it. And they do it so much as you see what he sees, and he knew what the fuck he was doing. That wasn't fucking luck.
No. Let's be real.
Like everything he does is luck.
Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be real. 10th round, Ortiz is gas done as fuck. Let's be honest. He's gas.
Yeah, please do.
He's making. I know exactly what.
How is that luck? How is that?
No. Come on, Mr. Doc. Hold on. I'm answering the question. The man Ortiz is gassed. He throws a left hand instead of getting back on balance and being defensive like he been all night. He's old and gassed. He tries to follow up with a slap right and another left. He threw 2 or 3 worthless shots and gave Wilder 10 seconds to time. It wasn't a ha. It was a Wilder just waiting.
But I wasn't no damn 10 seconds. Yo, you exaggerate like a motherfucker, man.
No. It's not a It ain't. Because Wilder can't do that. Ortiz literally threw 3 different punches. We can go look at it. We can bring it up now if Dan ain't scared to do it. We can
can't do that now. I'm gonna get copyright, bro.
All right. He threw a combination instead of throwing the left hand and missing.
Wait. Are you talking about Ortiz modified?
He just fell over himself. He was done.
Here's what you do, Lopez. What you do is you go watch the fight and find the timestamp so everyone else can go look at it.
Well, unfortunately, you won't. Hold on. Well, you're not going to find it online because CBS is very strict with their copyrights. So you have to do. You have to if you have a Showtime app.
It's in the highlights. It's the knockout reel. It's in the highlights. I know exactly what he's talking about. Wilder slipped inside of the left hand. He did slip the left hand. Made him miss with that. I'm not saying he can't do that with Ortiz, how slow he is. Yeah, he did it a few times.
That's like me going back and saying Adonis fought far illegally. So I mean, the fact is he won the fight,
I didn't say nothing about illegally. I didn't say anything about illegally. I said he slipped the left hand. I didn't say illegally. He slipped the left hand like he should have done. I said Ortiz is slow with his left hand and slow on his feet and sometimes lazy when he get tired because he can't help it. He's old. He ain't hold that against him. He tried his hard.
I want to hear I want this to happen so we can hear Lopeza's excuses after.
I do want you to do it. I ain't got no excuse. If he knock him out, hey, good for him. At the end of the day, I don't think you can do it.
It's guys like Lopez that wants me to see Wilder knock every fucking body out.
Let's do it.
Lopez, you're gonna say he knocked him out with his
I don't mind him.
I'm running out of time, but real quickly though, I want to ask Dwayne. I know since Dwayne got in here, I got to ask you something, man. I got to go back to. We'll get back to Adonis in a second, but
we don't have to.
We don't have to. Okay, good. I want to ask Dwayne his thoughts on Joshua and Povetkin being ordered by the WBA, man. What do you think about that? Dwayne?
I think he dropped off. Somebody just dropped off.
No. He's on mute. Dwayne, can you unmute yourself, man?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Hey, man. I want to ask you about Joshua and PC, man. You want to mute yourself, man? Oh, that's you, Dwayne. You're back. Never mind. But Dwayne.
Yeah.
Joshua and Povetkin got ordered by the WBA, man. What are your thoughts on that? Do you see Joshua vacating, or you think he's going to go through it?
I think he has to go through it because, like, I want all the belts again. Like Wilder, him versus Wilder for all the belts. To be honest, like, but is it just me or it just feels like Povetkin just weaseled his way through? Like,
yeah, you know what?
He did. That's what fucking David Price.
He did. Yeah.
Hold on. One at a time. Go ahead, Charlie, and then Ben, you can get in.
No, of course he did. Of course, that's what happened. He was able to get off with those charges that he got for getting caught for doing what he done. Somebody like Dillian White, they gave 2 years. They banned Dillian White for 2 years straight.
Right.
for less than what Povetkin
for an
did.
over the counter thing.
That's right. So he somehow.
One
second.
I got it.
It's all right. I'm muted.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah. So I myself, I think he's very fortunate to just be back on the scene to get. I don't think Joshua should fight him though. You know what I mean? I think Joshua should fight Wilder next if he can, or if he can't, he should find somebody who's highly ranked with the WBA. WBO and IBF, and that to me is Jarrell Miller. That's why they're looking at the Jarrell Miller fight, because it kills like 3 birds with 1 stone, because he's ranked over all the 3 governing bodies, sanctioning bodies. Sorry.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know what though?
I'm not really happy about it. How he's just all of a sudden he's got 2 wins against Christine Hammer, and I've got the other one.
Radenko.
Radenko.
Yeah, and then he's just back on the scene
on drugs.
It's bullshit, man. It's straight bullshit. That dude is like a 3-time predicate felon, man. He reminds me of Whitey Bulger. This motherfucker's murdering people in the streets, but nobody's arrested him. Like mad steroid, getting caught for steroids constantly, fights a couple bums, knocks out David Price, who's been knocked out by everybody, and now you're the fucking Mando? And the owner in the Mando immediately?
We forgot crazy, man. And he knocked out Molina in his bowling shoes. Remember, Molina was in his bowling shoes.
But you know what, though? A couple of people brought this up in the comment section before you guys came on about Povetkin. I know it's
let me ask you one question. One thing real quick, Dan, and I'm going to shut up because I got to go get on my grill anyway.
Okay.
The WBA basically hung Ortiz off a fucking bridge.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. What'd you say, Ben? I didn't hear you, man.
Hold on, my mother was asking me a question.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right.
Yeah, but I got to go fix something for her in a second. But let me finish my point.
Okay, go ahead, man.
The WBA basically hung Ortiz out to dry, kicked them all the way out the rankings, right? For drugs, for the bullshit. But why is Povetkin still in the top of their rankings after all the times he's got caught for drugs?
Yes. That's a good point.
You ever see hypocrisy?
That is hypocrisy, because I thought about that the other night, because it's like when Ortiz got popped, right? Something that's we could understand. Charlie and I were on this the whole time, man. Me and Charlie, we fought through that, right? And Charlie remembers this, and we understood the situation. Ortiz was irresponsible for not disclosing his information on his medication, right? Which you have to do on the CPP forms, right? It just seems to me that they quickly moved him out the way without doing a proper investigation like the WBC did. Okay, fair enough. But when the WBC reinstated his ranking, the WBA didn't do that. And I found that kind of odd. So why didn't they reinstate him like the WBC did? But Povetkin all of a sudden serves a short-term suspension for failing 2 drug tests, which normally some people would get a 2-year ban or maybe 1 year or more. And yeah, he gets back into the rankings just like that, off of 1 or 2 fights.
Someone's eating in that. Yeah, someone's. 1 second. Let me just mute you, Brethren. Yeah, someone's eating in the microphone. Go ahead, then. Sorry.
No. I was saying it's kind of odd that Povetkin. I mean, obviously because he's backed by a billionaire, by a billionaire guy by the name of Ryan Benson.
That's what I was gonna say. Besides the obvious, there's that right there. The fact that there's billions of dollars behind one guy, and I'm pretty sure Ortiz ain't got no billions behind him.
It's not right, though. It's not right. Like Povetkin shouldn't be in the spot, and Joshua shouldn't have any pressure put on him to fight Povetkin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right, and that's the thing too.
It's and he's already said he doesn't want to fight Dillian White, but he may just have to wait. I mean, who is he that he can just come back and demand that he's given the title?
But if he gets that IBF bando, it is what it is.
Well, you know what? That's the thing, though, Charlie. You raise an interesting point, because the Povetkin supporters are gonna be like, well, first of all, our guy fought to get back in that position. Who are you to tell us that he can't? He has to wait. He has to do this, that, the third. He earned that right, So what would you say to them if they came at you with that?
Well, I'd say to them, like, who did he fight to get back in? And where was that person ranked at the time? How he just flew up those rankings, the WBO. I know he's got the 2 titles, the international titles, but still, how he flew up those rankings so quickly.
Yeah.
They'd have to explain to me how that happened.
That's what I meant by wizard his way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because you got other fighters Like Jarrell Miller's been ranked higher than him before him. He was ranked higher than him before him.
Right.
So before he won against Christine Hammer. So boy, for me.
Since he's banned, how many fights has he had?
3 fights.
3.
And Dillian White has had 5.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he's had 4 because if you count the Molina,
no,
we pulled him out of the
crowd. What do you mean?
Right?
Since he was banned, or since Povetkin was banned?
Since Povetkin was banned.
Yeah, 4. Yeah. Because a lot of people, he's had like 11 fights in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, but you know what?
So,
yeah, Haplotype. What's going on, Haplotype? Haplotype is in the comment section. Say, hey, look, Purge will have a hard time winning a purse bid if there is one. He should have taken the Wilder fight. What do you think about that?
Yeah, but I ain't gonna lie. I'm nervous for Joshua going to
Russia.
Hold on, Mr. Doc. Dwayne. Hold on, Mr. Doc. Go ahead, Dwayne.
I said, if that fight goes to Russia, I'm nervous for Joshua going to Russia. To be honest, I ain't gonna lie.
I'm with you on that one, man. Because
it's shady up in there, man.
Yeah.
Yo, they're gonna spike us. They're gonna spike his stuff, man. He gonna fail a drug test.
Well, I would say this, Mr. Doc, when you get in after this, I will say this though: if he has to go to Russia, I suggest bring your own supplies, bring your water, bring your own food, bring your own, whatever training equipment that you could bring. Bring everything that you have to your own possession, and don't rely whatever they have for you as far as lodge is concerned. Don't do that, because we saw what happened to Lucas Brown and Francis Kendo when they went over to Chechnya when they fought Jagayev years ago. So, yeah, man, I am kind of nervous too for him too, man. If it goes to purse bid and he's got to go to Russia, I am kind of nervous. So, yeah, Mr. Doc, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna. Yeah, I think you guys hit on most of it, but I'd add this: if it's in Russia, not Germany, mind you, because there's a difference here.
Yeah.
All right, if it's in Russia, you're probably gonna have to knock him the fuck out too.
Oh yeah, you don't have to.
I've seen some of those scorecards over there,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Haplotype says,
also,
look.
Oh yeah, the other thing is check the other thing that like you're saying the stuff Fury did bed. You got to check that mat. Make sure they don't have a freaking bed mattress.
Yeah. The Lebedev versus fucking Guillermo Jones, they somehow had Lebedev winning that fight.
That's what I'm saying.
Dog shit beat out of him.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
You know what's funny though? I just noticed something too. Ever since this fight got announced by the WBA, some of I'm not saying you guys. I know some of you guys are Joshua supporters, but I don't call you guys crazies. But some of the Joshua crazy fans are now saying,
T's crazy. That nigga's crazy.
He's crazy. He's crazy, but I don't think he said this though. But since this fight got announced, a lot of people are now pushing for Joshua to fight Wilder now. It's like, yeah, you're gonna have to take that Wilder fight because they don't trust Povetkin.
I don't think it's that. I don't think anybody's scared, or those are only like casual kind of fanboys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Kind of. But anybody who knows boxing knows there's no fear. It's just that he's in the way. He's an obstacle. Do you know what I mean? That he has to get around. This is what happened.
I want to bring.
Yeah, the other thing I'd be concerned about is the Russian mob, not Povetkin himself or Joshua's ability to beat him.
Yeah, but go ahead, Dwayne. That's a good play, Doc.
Yeah. No. Because I was thinking this fight happens in 2018, but Dan was made a point of it being in 2019. But now I'm thinking about it because if Joshua's still to go to New York, to fight Jarrell Miller, probably say if this fight happens, then after that, then I can see the Wilder fight happen after that, or unless they make it straight away. But I think if they want to do a two-fight deal,
that's why they're going down that road, because what it is that Jarrell Miller's ranked by the IBF, WBO, and WBA. So, like, those are the 3 belts that he's got. So if they can make a deal where, okay, look, I'm going to fight him because he's high up. I'll fight Wilder if successful, and after that, we can then negotiate Povetkin, and that's probably what's going to happen. That's what should happen. That's what should happen, and that's probably what will happen, because the Wilder fight is a bigger fight. And I remember Mendoza saying that he's not going to get in the way of any unification. So how can he go back on his word now?
It's not Mendoza. It's not Mendoza. It's actually Suleiman who said that for the WBC. Mendoza didn't come out and say that.
But didn't he say that in a way, once the person is the super champion, that he can't get in the way of any negotiations?
Really? I didn't recall him saying that.
Yeah, he did. But that's why they made the super champion. He doesn't.
That was Suleiman.
No. I'm talking about
No. I know what Tony Bro's saying. Yeah.
Yeah. He said, Suleiman said about the thing. Yeah, you're right. But unification. But also,
why are these fucking Hispanics running these belts, man? I don't trust them dirty motherfuckers, man.
Zoom in, man. But you know what, though? But here's the thing, though. A lot of people now are kind of nervous about this Povetkin mandatory situation. And they have every right to be. I don't blame them. But I really think that Joshua should go through it, let the process plays out. If they can get exemption somehow to go fight, involuntary in the meantime, but go ahead. But at the same time, looking at it from another perspective, that mandatory was due for the last 2 years, and the WBA is not going to wait for that any longer. They've already let 2 unifications go ahead, so they're going to have to. They're going to say, no, we've already let 2 unifications go ahead for the last 2 years. It's about time that we get our mandatory fulfilled. Plain and simple.
That's true. But then, what do you think Wilder does now? Like, if that fight happens?
Well, he's going to have to fight Dominic Brazil. He's going to have to fight some of those guys in the WBC rankings. I know Shelly Fico came out and said that we're not even approaching Dominic Brazil. We're approaching the Wilder fight. That's what we want. But I'm not too sure about that. I don't think that's realistic what Shelly Fico is saying. Because usually promoters or managers will say things like that, and then next, that fight actually comes into fruition. So I really truly genuinely believe that Dominic Brazil is the fight they're working on right now. Shelly Fico just can't announce the particulars. He can't announce what's going on because there's something they may have drafted, which is just called an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement. You cannot announce anything before we actually sign the deal. So that's probably what's going on behind the scenes. So I believe he'll fight Brazil. Then eventually he'll fight Dillian Whyte. That mandatory will be called by the WBC after Wilder fights Brazil. So once he beats him, then he'll get on Whyte, and then next year we can get that unification showdown. So I see Wilder taking on 2 more fights. I think he'll take 1 more fight before the end of the year. Yeah, not by this year. I'd say 1 more fight by the end of this year, 1 more fight in the fall, and then another fight in the spring or winter, as we call over here in the States, which is in January, between January, February, and March.
He could do 2 more this year. Why not get both those fights out of the fucking way?
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking
you do one in the summer and 1 in December.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, a lot of guys in the comment section, IOs, they're getting worried about that Povetkin thing. They're like, man, they want that Wilder fight to stay. They'd rather him go through the Wilder fight than go to the Povetkin fight. They really rather want to see him do that.
And of course, because it's YouTube, there'll be a bunch of weirdos that'll be angry that he's fighting Wilder instead of Povetkin.
Well, people are already saying that Eddie Hearn fucking masterminded this shit, man.
Yeah.
I hate Eddie Hearn. Don't get it fucked up. I hate that motherfucker, but I don't believe he's behind this shit.
Yeah.
Yo, man, you got people blaming Wilder.
Oh, no, Benimar, I was talking about Povetkin fans. You got to remember.
No, I know. Those guys, the precise pussies, they'll pop up out of the way.
You got to remember, exactly.
Yeah, they're still lurking. They're still lurking.
Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah. Somehow fighting Wilder will be a duck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, no, but you haven't listened to them lately. They're calling Joshua a ducker now.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they'll call fighting Wilder. They'll call that ducking Povetkin. See,
anything with black skin is a ducker to them. So I don't really want to hear that shit.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? Somebody brought this up. Weed Degree in the comment section. Shout out to Weed Degree. He said that considering the current relationship between the UK and Russia, this can get a little messy. I mean, yeah, we all know from a political standpoint there is a bad tensions there between the UK and the Russians. So.
I can't see Joshua going over to Russia.
I can't see that.
Yeah.
If they could get the fight over in the UK, it would potentially be.
They're not going to go over. They're not going to go over there for safety. All of that.
I'm saying if they can have it in the UK, it'd be good.
It will have to be. It will have to be wherever they say it goes, because he's the champion.
Yeah,
like you lot again, because you lot are making a mistake of giving the Russians too much power, or more power than they have. You know what I mean?
Well, they got a lot of money.
I know, but you know what I mean. It's like the oil rich. It's like it's crazy. Don't don't let your imagination run wild. You know what I mean? This is
it's not infinite. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They're gonna have
but
to
might
come
go
over
to
to
purse
Britain.
bid. Might go to purse bid. Though.
No, they'll win.
They can't.
No,
they can't do that.
No, one second, Dan. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, PNC's right. That it will go to purse bids, and them Russians will win it because they got the money. But I'm just saying that don't expect it to be in Russia though. They like even if they win the purse bids, they still have to come over here. It might be their promotion, but they'll come here. I definitely know. I can't see Eddie Hearn getting on no plane to Russia. I could tell you that. Not this year.
Yeah.
Yo, man, what if they have it in America?
Yeah, that is what I can see. PNC. I could see them doing it in Vegas or New York.
Well, Pablo,
if it happened over here, you could have that in Wild or White.
Yeah, that's
no. What you could do is have Wilder over here punch up White for £8 million. You know what I mean? Make him punch up Dillian White over here, and then Joshua he go over there and punch up Povetkin. You know what I mean, for the American audience, and then we get that fight in Christmas.
Well, I would say this though, Charlie.
Card, man.
Yeah, that would be. But let me say this, Charlie. But Hoplo is actually trying to. He's cool, but he's kind of disagreeing. He's like, look, man, Hearn is not going to be taking on the Russians. There's no way he can do that. He'll be bowing down to them. So he said, this is not no imagination. He's like,
strong language.
Hoplo is strong, man. He's also saying, look, man, this is no imagination. Joshua will go where they say he go because they have the money. There's no way Matthew can outbid these guys. He's gonna do it.
But that doesn't matter though, because because like I said,
there's still politics.
Yeah, there's still the politics. Yeah. You look okay. Give him all that.
Money goes a long way, but like I said, not infinite. Yeah.
That's right. It don't make you any taller, does it, Mr. Doc? You know the money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't even stand on it. I don't even stand on it though. You know what I mean? But that's
once those shoe lifts get above like 2-3 inches, the walking around gets a little bit iffy.
Yeah, but you know what though? It's gonna be interesting in the next few days because I did call on this. I mean, you remember, Charlie? We all talked about this, Doc. That I think the WBA is gonna call for that fight in the next few days. I did say that. I said, that was coming because that mandatory was long overdue. So
that's what we're saying. That's what I'm saying. The money will get you that. Like we're asking, how did Povetkin, come back from the drug, failures and all that? Well, that's where the money comes in and getting into position.
Yeah,
but I do see Charlie's point that once we get to this point, the Joshua fight, the politics are going to become a lot more difficult to overcome with sheer money.
Yeah, but you know what, guys? I'm going to have to wrap this up. We can try it offline if you want to, but I want to say thank you guys for coming on. Charlie Brown, Dwayne Jones, a pleasure having you on again, man. Ben Umar, Mr. Doc, PNC, and the crazy ass low place that you was here for a second. Then shout out to everybody in the comments section. We Degree, Fox Strikes, IO, Kiwi Box, all you guys. Mike from Pound for Pound Boxing Report, Joe Host, all you guys on here. Black Latin Caesar. I'm glad you guys could come on. Until next time, we are out. Peace.
Peace.